I want you guys to take a second and think about your favorite documentary. Now, I guarantee you guys that the first thing that popped into your mind was the main character from that documentary. And while I think that there's a ton of information packed into this documentary, and maybe there's beautiful scenic shots or incredible cinematography, the one thing that we're left with and we're always reminded of is the main characters. And I want you guys to take a second and ask yourself, out of everything that this documentary showed you, the information, the cinematography, the whole story, why is it that the one thing that we remember is this person? And the answer is simple. The people and the characters in your film is what's going to have the greatest impact on your documentary. Before we jump into this video, I wanted to talk to you guys about today's sponsor, Riverside. If you're a content creator looking to create content consistently while maintaining the highest quality video and audio recording, then you need a platform like Riverside. Riverside is an all-in-one studio for creating podcast or talking head videos in 4K resolution. And what I love about Riverside is that it's so much more than just a recording platform. They offer incredible features like text-based editing and magic clips that allow you to edit the entire transcript and using AI-generated clips for social media based on the best moments of your recording, which allows you to quickly go through the entire AI-generated transcript and edit your content without ever leaving the platform. So if you guys are interested in using Riverside for your documentaries or even your podcasts, definitely check them out, and I'll leave a link in the description down below. By far, the most important aspect of your documentary is your characters and the journey that they're going on. Now, it's really important to identify the difference between an isolated event and an actual story. For example, let's just say you wanted to make a documentary about World War II. There are a ton of facts about the war and historical footage, but until you actually have a character that's been affected by that war, you don't have a story, you have an isolated event. When I'm in the process of looking for a new documentary or researching a story, the first thing that I look for is a character that's trying to accomplish something that's greater than themselves. And then once I find this person and I actually meet them, I try to find out what makes them unique. What are the characteristics or adversities or even trials that they've been through in their life that has created this person that they are today? For example, when I'm shooting my docuseries for Law of the Goat, I'm looking for fighters that have gone through something a little bit more than just the average fighter's life. And if you notice, most of the fighters that I cover come from a third world country, and the big reason why that is because that suffering and where they come from sets them apart from anyone else in the fight world. Those circumstances have built this character and built this person that we see today, and it's just unique and different from anyone else. So try to keep in mind when you're researching or trying to find the next character for your film, make sure that they're trying to achieve something greater than themselves, and try to find that unique character or adversity that they've gone through that actually sets them apart from everyone else. So once you have your character and you have an understanding of their story, it's time to start figuring out the theme of the film. And what is the theme? The theme is the overall message that you're trying to convey in your documentary. Think of the theme of your film like a compass that guides you. As you're making these decisions and you're thinking about the interview questions and the cinematography, the storyline, and even the editing, the theme of your film is your film's North Star. If you don't take the time to really recognize what your theme is or the message that you're trying to tell, your film won't have substance. And most importantly, you won't really have a strong direction of where you're trying to go. In fact, you might even get lost when it comes time to making certain decisions about where to take the story or the kind of shots and music that you want to use, because you don't really know what you're trying to say. And that's why before I write interview questions or I even go through the story beats, I sit down and I just have a conversation with my characters and I find out what they're trying to accomplish and what it's going to take for them to get there. Through this conversation, I'll start to figure out the theme of my film. And once you have this down, I know it sounds ridiculous, but when you actually have this down and you have a solid theme for your film, it's going to help you make these decisions, these hard decisions, as you're making your documentary, because you're going to follow that message that you're trying to give. When I first started, I overlooked one of the most important aspects of filmmaking, and that is pre-production. Essentially, what you do in pre-production is plan your film. And this spans everything from scripting, storyboarding, the shot list, scheduling, budgeting. It is the overall plan and vision for your film. And I suggest that you guys take a good amount of time planning your script or outline and really try to figure out as much as you can where the story is trying to go. I started to realize that the more time that I spent in pre-production and planning my film, the more organized and efficient everything else started to become. And most importantly, I actually increased the value of the film production and the post-production because I was extremely organized and all my money and resources were allocated accordingly. I didn't overspend. I didn't take too much time on anything. I knew exactly how this thing was going to go down, and that's because I really took the time and thought out every step of the process. Which brings me to my next point, and that is figuring out the style and tone of your film. When I'm writing the outline or even the script for my documentaries, most of the time I'm listening to tons and tons of music to help me inspire the tone of the film. I'll use sites like MusicBed or Artlist and just start creating playlists of all the different types of music that I like. Then once I have the idea of the music that I want to use, I start to focus on the style of the cinematography that the film is going to be inspired by. And I do this by creating a mood board, and it doesn't have to be pretty, it just has to give you an idea of the overall vision that you're trying to get for the cinematography. And this might be things like color and tones or compositions. A lot of the times what I'll do is I'll create a section for my interview looks. Now, for the last couple of years, we've been working and building a documentary course that takes you from ideation to final edit and even talks about monetizing your films and pitching to major streaming platforms. And if you guys are interested in knowing more, I'll leave a link down below so you guys can sign up for the email list. We plan to release this course by the end of the year, and our goal is to not only just have an online course, but we're trying to create a community that can actually help each other grow to the next level. So if you guys are interested in that, I'll leave a link down below so you can sign up to our email list. When you start filming, there's definitely going to be some times where you go off your script or your outline, and maybe you're in the middle of an interview and you start to ask questions that you didn't even think of, and you just start having a conversation. Try to remember that when you are creating your script and your outline, everything is subject to change. As much as you want to control everything that you're filming, we have to remember that these are real people and real stories. After every single interview I film, I'll take a look at my overall script and or storyboard, and I just make sure that I'm still on track to tell a cohesive story. And if something really changed drastically in the story because of an event or a certain thing that happened, I'll make sure to update it and try to figure out how to still organize my story and still try to figure out where this story is going and how to make that adjustment. Now, when you're starting to film your documentary, it's extremely important to take the time to really build the relationship with your characters and explain to them what the vision of your film is and how this is not just going to benefit you, but it's also going to benefit them. When your characters are aligned with the vision of your film, they're going to start to feel like they're working on it with you, and this is more of a collaborative effort, and they're going to do everything in their power to help you make this film. If that means giving you access into their life or calling you up and letting you know the most important things that are going on with them, you know, they'll come up with ideas on their own, like, hey, maybe you want to film this and maybe you want to film that. And just to give you guys a little example, I've been filming my docuseries Law of the Goat for the last couple of years, and through that process I've built such great relationships with everybody involved in this film. And there'll be times where something really important happens to one of my characters and they'll call me up and they'll be like, hey Alex, this is going on in my life right now, maybe you want to capture this because this is going to help you tell this story. As someone who makes documentary films, you have to really love the process of getting to know people. There's definitely a sense of psychology and social awareness that you have to become a documentary filmmaker. And if that's not you and that's not the type of person you are, that's okay. But you do have to work on that aspect of your skills and your craft, because I think that that's one of the most overlooked and one of the most important aspects of being a documentary filmmaker. I would like to thank you guys for stopping in and watching this video. If you guys want to check out my documentary course and sign up for that email list, I'll leave a link down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Deuces.